I'm drinking gin, just drinking gin. I drink it in the evening and sometimes in the morning as well.
No nonsense gin drinking. All gin, no nonsense.
Hello gin lovers, welcome back. I'm Bobby Freeman, and today my friends we're going to be looking at gins for gin haters, or as I prefer to call them, people who think they hate gin but they just haven't found the right one yet. So the reason I'm making this video is because, believe it or not, some people that watch this show don't actually like gin. I cannot for the life of me work out why they watch it. I'd love to say it was because of my rugged good looks, but we all know that will be bullshit. So I felt a bit of a duty, to be honest, because I was quite flattered that people should watch the show without liking gin. So I thought I'd make this video to sort of reach out to those people, and indeed anyone else who perhaps is just watching this for the first time, having just seen the thumbnail, and try and find a way to bring you in so that you can enjoy the show for what it actually is, rather than just my amusing ramblings. So what I've done is I've had a bit of a think, and I've put together 4 key points, which I think are possibly the kind of sticking points, the major sticking points that people encounter when they think they don't like gin, and then a bit of advice on how to overcome these problems. So hopefully I might bring you all around to my way of thinking, and you'll all be seasoned seasoned gin drinkers by the end of this video. So strap yourselves in, my friend, and prepare to be transformed.
Maybe it's the tonic.
Now this, I believe, is the #1 reason why people think they don't like gin. It's because in most parts of the world, certainly here in the UK and in Europe, and I think most places, gin is generally drunk with tonic. So the majority of the times when you try a gin, it's usually a gin and tonic. Now tonic has a very, very unique taste, and a lot of people don't like it because it has a kind of a bitterness to it, which comes from the quinine, which is taken from a tree bark. And I have to admit, when I first tried gin and tonic, I wasn't sure about it, and I would say that quinine in the tonic is very much an acquired taste. So you could either got a few choices here. You can either power through and just keep drinking it until you like it, which is what I did, or you can try it some different mixes instead. So straight away, the first one I would recommend is try it with soda water or club soda or whatever you want to call it, because that is a completely neutral flavour. No bitterness, no nothing in there. Personally, I'm not a big fan of it, but I know some people do like it. What I would say here is though, make sure you pour it quite strong, okay? You don't want to drown that gin because it's essentially just water, sparkling water. So I would do it at least half and half, and maybe even 2 parts gin, 1 part soda. Another very popular one is lemonade. Now when I'm talking about lemonade, I'm talking about the British version of lemonade, or I think it's the same in Europe as well, which is essentially like Sprite or 7-Up. That's what we call lemonade. I'll come on to the American style lemonade in a minute. And what I'd say about this one is try a gin with a big flavour profile, because you don't want it to get sort of completely overwhelmed by the sort of high sugar content of that drink. So something like the old Tanqueray number 10 up there, Beefeater 24, or if you're in Australia, something like the Melbourne Gin Company, just so it doesn't get overwhelmed by all that sugariness. Now the American style lemonade is kind of like what we would call over here cloudy lemonade or traditional lemonade. So it's basically just, I think, lemon juice, water and sugar. It's really, really nice. I always love it when I go over to America. Now this one is an amazing mixture, and it works with all sorts of gins. It can even make the bad gins taste nice. So even my old arch nemesis, the Bombay Sapphire over there, which was recommended by one of my subscribers called Hayden about 6 or 7 months ago, it even made that taste good. But I would recommend, generally speaking, have one of the classic gins with it, I would have thought. So something like your Beefeater, your Tanqueray, or maybe your Brokers over there. But to be honest, you could probably enjoy almost any gin with this one. It's so good. Another good one is quite a retro drink and not really drunk that often these days. I think it was quite popular in the 1980s. In fact, my Auntie Sal loves to drink this when she goes out, and this is a gin and orange. So it's orange juice or OJ or whatever you want to call it. And to be honest, I very rarely drink this, but it was a couple of occasions where I went to the fridge and we run out of tonic. I occasionally experienced poor tonic management, and we had some orange juice in there, so I whacked it in there. It was just absolutely gorgeous. I really liked it. And again, I'd recommend it probably with the classic gins, the Beefeaters, the Tanquerays and the Brokers, possibly the Plymouths as well up there, anything really. I did try it once with an orange gin. That was a little bit too orangey for me, but you know, mix it up, you might like it. And again, brilliant alternative to tonic. And of course, if you're feeling particularly hardcore, you can drink it neat. But one bit of advice I would give you if you're going to do this, and this sounds like absolute madness, but say you have 1 shot of gin, put a tiny couple of, just a couple of drops, like a couple of blip, blip, of water. I know that sounds absolutely crazy, but I was actually told this by a cocktail bar consultant, and that's what master distillers and expert gin tasters do, because it actually releases some of those flavors, because a lot of the flavors can be kind of water soluble, and you'd think it would water down, but it actually does bring flavors out much more than if you drunk it neat. So if you are going to try it neat and you're going to be hardcore, stick a couple of drops of water in there.
Maybe it's the juniper.
Now, as many of you may well know, gin has to contain juniper, otherwise it is not considered a gin. However, what if you don't like juniper, or you found it a bit overpowering? Well, there are some gins out there which are a little bit less on the juniper. One called Boodles, which I featured on the show quite a while ago, but I've drunk all of it, so I can't show you the bottle. And another one which I'm pretty sure most people have heard of, which is Aviation up here. Now, they actually make a point of it on the website that they put less juniper in their gin. So those two are definitely ones to try if you don't really like the juniper flavour.
Get fruity.
Now this is where it gets a little bit fun, because there are so many flavours of gins available at the moment, and this kind of touches a little bit on my video that I made the other day, which was 6 reasons to drink gin, because I talked about the different varieties. And just look at this, if you don't like what is considered a classic sort of gin flavour, then you've got things like lemon flavoured gins over here, you've got strawberry flavoured gins here. This one particularly, the Beefeater Pink, is available most places, I think, and it is just a smash hit at parties and an absolute delight. Then you've got orange gins here, but not only are these sort of just, they're not going to be all the same. These sort of different, the strawberry, the lemon, and the orange. Each one of these bottles within these categories are going to be unique. You've got like blood orange there, a different kind of blood orange than your standard kind of orange. You've got lemon drizzle there, so it's kind of a sort of a cakey flavour in there as well. It's just incredible the amount of variety there is out there. And then we move on to the even more weird and wonderful flavours. So you've got Jaffa Cake flavour here, you've got chili and lime flavour here, you've got hot stinging nettle and honey, peach, and of course my good old favourite, the one that is flavoured with elephant poo, which is actually surprisingly nice and one of my favourite gins I'm drinking at the moment. And this is the area I think which is going to be key to finding a gin that you will like, because as I said before, if you don't like what is traditionally known as a gin, there are so many different flavours here, wonderful varieties, that I would just be absolutely amazed if there wasn't at least one of them that you liked.
Make your own gin.
Now the last option, of course, is to make your own gin, which sounds really complicated and difficult, but honestly, it's really not, because fortunately nowadays there are loads of make your own gin kits available online. You can just order them. I used one called Do Your Gin, which was great. I really enjoyed it, but on reflection, they are quite expensive, to be honest. They're kind of double the price of the restaurant, so do shop around. And it's so much fun. It's quite a simple process, but I really enjoyed it. All you do is just pour your different whatever botanicals you want into some vodka, because vodka is essentially the same as gin. Gin is pretty much sort of, loosely speaking, flavoured vodka. So you just buy that yourself, make sure you get some good quality vodka, pour in whatever botanicals you want. So if you think, I don't really like the sound of this sort of botanical, but I like a bit more of that, you can tailor make your gin just for you. And that way, if there are any specific flavours you really don't like, you think might be the problem for you, the sticking point with gin, you can just leave them out and make your own tailored gin to exactly to your preferences. So gin lovers, or gin haters I should say, there we have it. A few sort of little bits of advice that I've gleaned from my time making this channel and my time sort of enjoying and experiencing gin. So give them a go, let me know what you think. It's not gonna, work for everybody, but if I could save just, but a mere handful of gin haters and bring them back from the dark side to the light, then my work here is done. And of course, if you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Click the little like button on the video, and if you want to support the show, you can head over to my Patreon page or click the join button on my homepage here on YouTube. But until next time, guys, you know the drill. Take care, stay safe. Thank you to all my patrons and YouTube members, and keep drinking the gin.